Ever notice how some people always get picked first? First for promotions, first for invitations, first choice in relationships, while others, maybe you, always seem to be the backup plan, the one people call when their first choice falls through. So what separates them from you? I am about to tell you something that is going to sting. You are not everyone's second choice by accident. You've been training people to treat you as an option your entire life. And every time you accepted being someone's backup, you confirmed that is exactly where you belong. You text first every single time and tell yourself you are just being friendly. You accept last, minute invitations after being ignored for weeks. You take whatever scraps of attention people throw your way and convince yourself it is better than nothing. You know what that is called: teaching people you have no standards. But here is what is going to change everything. 500 years ago, Machiavelli decoded exactly why some people become indispensable while others become invisible. He understood the dark psychology of human value, and the people who get picked first, they're using his principles whether they know it or not. What if I told you that being nice, available and accommodating is exactly why you keep getting passed over? That your flexibility is being read as desperation? That the more you try to fit into people's lives, the less space you actually take up in their minds? This isn't theory. This is the brutal mechanics of human psychology. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you've been stuck in second place your entire life, why the people you want most seem to want you least, and most importantly, how to rewire your psychology so you never accept being an option again. Are you ready to stop waiting by the phone and start being the person everyone's trying to reach? Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the first choice. Number 1. The second choice identity. Here is a truth that is going to hit different. Being everyone's second choice isn't something that happens to you. It is something you've become. Somewhere along the way, you built an entire identity around being the reliable backup, the safe option, the one who is always there when everyone else isn't. Think back to where this started. Maybe you were the kid who got picked last for teams. Maybe you were the friend who only got invited when someone else couldn't make it. Maybe you learned early that you weren't naturally chosen, so you had to make yourself useful to even be considered. And so you adapted. You became agreeable, you became helpful. You became the person who never complained, never demanded, never made waves. You thought this would make people value you more. But it did the opposite. It trained them to value you less. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." When you appear to be someone who accepts second place, that is all anyone will ever offer you. Your appearance of contentment with scraps becomes your ceiling. The brutal truth is that second choice people share common traits. They prioritize others' comfort over their own needs. They're terrified of conflict, so they never push back. They confuse being needed with being wanted. They'd rather have guaranteed crumbs than risk rejection going for the whole meal. And here is what makes this identity so dangerous. It becomes self-fulfilling. The more you act like a second choice, the more you get treated like one. The more you get treated like one, the more you believe that is what you deserve. The more you believe it, the more you act like it. It is a prison you built yourself, and you've been locking the door from the inside. Breaking free starts with rejecting this identity completely, not improving it, not being a better second choice, abandoning it entirely. You have to decide that being someone's backup is no longer an option you'll accept, even if it means being alone, even if it means losing people, even if it means starting over. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I reject second place. Number 2. The psychology of selection. Let's decode exactly how people decide who becomes their first choice and who gets relegated to backup status. Because this isn't random. There is a specific psychology at work, and once you understand it, you'll see why everything you've been doing has backfired. Human beings make selection decisions based on perceived value. not actual value, perceived value. And here is where it gets dark. We don't assess value by what someone offers. We assess it by what they don't offer freely. Scarcity creates value, always has, always will. Think about anything valuable in your life. Was it easy to get? Probably not. The things we treasure most are the things we had to work for, wait for, compete for. Your brain is wired to value what is scarce and dismiss what is abundant. This applies to objects, it applies to opportunities, and it absolutely applies to people. When you are always available, you signal low value. When you are always agreeable, you signal low value. When you accept whatever people give you without pushback, you signal low value. Your brain screams, I am abundant. I am easy to get. I am not worth competing for. Machiavelli understood this perfectly when he wrote, Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The people who become first choices aren't necessarily more lovable, but they do trigger a subtle fear. Fear of losing access. Fear of being replaced. Fear that if you don't choose them now, someone else will. Second choice. People trigger no fear. Everyone knows they'll always be there. Everyone knows they'll accept whatever's offered. Everyone knows there is no competition because no one else is fighting for them. Where is the urgency in choosing someone who is guaranteed? This is why your niceness has been working against you. Every time you made yourself conveniently available, you decreased your perceived value. Every time you accepted breadcrumb treatment, you confirmed you weren't worth a full meal. Every time you chased someone who wasn't chasing back, you proved you didn't have better options. The solution is counterintuitive. To become a first choice, you have to be willing to not be chosen at all. You have to create scarcity by having standards that eliminate people who don't meet them. You have to trigger that primal fear of loss by being someone who could actually walk away. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My value is undeniable. Number 3. The availability trap. Here is something that is going to make you rethink every relationship you have. Your availability is destroying your value. Every single time you are instantly accessible, immediately responsive, endlessly flexible, you are training people that you have nothing better going on. Think about what constant availability communicates. It says your time isn't valuable. It says no one else is competing for your attention. It says you are not busy building an interesting life. It says they're the most important thing you have going on. And when someone becomes convinced they're your top priority before they've earned that position, they lose all motivation to try. Machiavelli observed, the more easily you are seduced, the more easily you are taken for granted. Your instant availability is a form of seduction. You are seducing people with your attention, and they're taking you for granted because you've made it too easy. Compare this to the people who become first choices. They're not always available. They have their own plans, their own priorities, their own life that doesn't revolve around anyone else's schedule. When they make time for you, it feels like a gift because their time is actually valuable. Now look at your patterns. Do you rearrange your schedule whenever someone wants to see you? Do you respond to texts within seconds, even when you are busy with something else? Do you cancel your own plans to accommodate theirs? Do you keep evenings open just in case they might want to hang out? Every yes to those questions is a nail in the coffin of your perceived value. You are not being a good friend or partner. You are being a vending machine available 24/7. No effort required. Just press the button and out comes your time, attention, and energy. The fix is strategic unavailability, not playing games, not being manipulative. Just genuinely filling your life with things that matter more than being at everyone's beck and call. When you have a full life, limited availability isn't a tactic. It is a natural consequence of actually being valuable. Start saying no to last. Minute invitations that disrespect your time. Start having plans that can't be canceled for anyone. Start responding when it is convenient for you, not the moment your phone buzzes. Watch how quickly people start treating your time as valuable when you start treating it that way yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My time is premium. Number 4. The neediness epidemic. Let's talk about the invisible force that repels first choice status faster than anything else. Neediness, that desperate energy that leaks out of every pore when you want someone's approval more than you want your own self-respect. Neediness isn't about having needs. Everyone has needs. Neediness is about communicating through words, actions, and energy. That you can't survive without specific people's validation. That their opinion of you determines your opinion of yourself. That without their approval, you are incomplete. And here is the brutal truth. Human beings are repelled by neediness on a primal level. We're wired to move away from people who seem too invested in us too quickly. It triggers alarm bells. It feels like a trap. It suggests there is a reason no one else wants them. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Applied to your situation, it is better to seem like you don't need them at all than to seem like you need them too much. Neediness isn't love. It is a burden disguised as affection. Think about the needy behaviors that mark second-choice people. Over-explaining to make sure they're understood. Over-apologizing for things that don't require apology. Over-giving to create obligation. Over-communicating to maintain connection. Over-analyzing every interaction for hidden meaning. Each of these behaviors broadcasts the same message. I don't believe I am enough on my own. I need you to confirm my value. Please, please, please choose me. And nothing is less attractive than begging to be chosen. Nothing pushes you further into second place than desperation to be first. The antidote is radical self-sufficiency. Not isolation, not pretending you don't want connection, but genuinely building a sense of self that doesn't depend on external validation. When you truly don't need someone's approval, you stop performing for it, and ironically, that is exactly when they start wanting to give it. This requires deep inner work. Healing the wounds that made you believe your worth depends on others. Building a life that genuinely fulfills you. Developing a relationship with yourself that is stronger than your relationship with anyone else's opinion. It is not easy, but it is the only path from second choice to first. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am complete alone. Number 5. The pursuit paradox. Here is a psychological truth that second choice people never understand. The person who pursues less has all the power. And you've been pursuing too hard your entire life. Think about anyone you've ever been obsessed with. Chances are, they weren't chasing you. They were just existing, doing their thing. And that is exactly what drove you crazy. Meanwhile, the people who were clearly into you probably felt less exciting. Why? Because there is no thrill in catching something that throws itself at you. Machiavelli noted, "The wish to acquire is in truth very natural and common, and men always do so when they can." People naturally want to acquire what seems valuable and scarce. When you chase, you signal that you are the one who needs to acquire them. You've placed yourself below them in the value hierarchy. Second choice, people chase. They initiate most contact. They make most plans. They drive conversations forward. They're always the one reaching out, following up, keeping the connection alive. And they wonder why they're never prioritized. First choice, people are pursued. Not because they play games, not because they're manipulative, but because they genuinely have lives full enough that they don't need to chase anyone. Their attention is a prize that people compete for, not a commodity they give away freely. The pursuit paradox works like this. When you chase less, you signal higher value. Higher value makes people want you more. When people want you more, they start pursuing you. When they pursue you, the dynamic completely reverses. This doesn't mean never reaching out. It means matching investment. If they text once, you text once. If they initiate plans sometimes, you initiate sometimes. If they show interest, you can show interest back. But never ever be the one who is consistently pursuing more than they are. When you feel the urge to chase, stop. Do something else. Invest that energy in yourself instead. Every time you don't chase when you want to, you build the muscle of self-restraint. And every time you don't pursue, you create the vacuum that makes others want to fill it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I attract. I don't chase. Number 6. The tolerance tax. Let's talk about how your tolerance for poor treatment is keeping you in second place. Because every time you accept being treated as an option, you are paying a tax, and that tax is your dignity. Think about what you tolerate from people who treat you as second choice. You tolerate canceled plans with flimsy excuses. You tolerate texts that get answered days later. You tolerate being included only when it is convenient for them. You tolerate being talked down to, overlooked, and taken for granted. And every single time you tolerate this treatment, you are sending a message. You are telling them their behavior is acceptable. You are teaching them exactly how little effort they need to invest. You are confirming that you have no better options, so you'll take whatever they give. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, because seeing belongs to everyone while feeling belongs to few. People judge you by what they can see you accepting. When they see you accepting second-class treatment, they judge you as second class. Here is the shift. Your tolerance level is your teaching mechanism. Low tolerance for poor treatment teaches people to treat you well. High tolerance for poor treatment teaches people they can treat you however they want. You are not being gracious by tolerating disrespect. You are being complicit in your own devaluation. First choice, people have almost zero tolerance for being treated as options. Someone flakes without good reason. They're downgraded immediately. Someone doesn't reciprocate effort. Access is withdrawn. Someone treats them as an afterthought. They become unavailable entirely. This isn't about being petty or keeping score. It is about recognizing that how you allow people to treat you determines how they will treat you. And if you allow second-place treatment, you'll keep getting second-place treatment. The fix is immediate enforcement, not explanations, not second chances for the same offense. When someone treats you as an option, you treat them as a stranger. You don't tell them what they did wrong. You don't give them a chance to apologize. You simply withdraw and let your absence speak louder than any words. Some people will be confused by your new standards. Good. Let them wonder. Some people will try harder to win you back. Good. That is the response you deserve. Some people will disappear entirely. Good. They just revealed they were never willing to treat you as first choice anyway. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My standards are absolute. Number 7. Becoming genuinely valuable. Here is the truth that changes everything. You can't fake first choice energy. You actually have to become someone worth choosing first. And that means building a life so compelling that being your backup would feel like a privilege. Most second choice people focus on the wrong thing. They try to make others choose them instead of becoming someone worth choosing. They tweak their presentation instead of improving their substance. They learn manipulation tactics instead of building genuine value. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man ought always to follow the paths beaten by great men and to imitate those who have been supreme." Look at the people who are genuinely first choices in every area of life. They all have something in common. They've built themselves into someone remarkable. This means developing skills that make you genuinely useful, building a life that is genuinely interesting, creating achievements you are genuinely proud of, having stories that are genuinely worth telling, being genuinely different from everyone else who is competing for the same attention. When you are genuinely valuable, everything changes. You stop needing to convince people to choose you. They convince themselves. You stop chasing because you are too busy building. You stop tolerating poor treatment because you know others are waiting in line. The path to genuine value isn't quick or easy. It means identifying what makes you unique and developing it obsessively. It means acquiring skills that are rare and useful. It means building a body of work that speaks for itself. It means becoming someone you'd want to choose first. This is the real secret. Stop trying to get people to choose you. Become someone they can't afford not to choose. Build so much value that treating you as second choice would be their loss, not yours. When you are genuinely first choice material, the world has a way of recognizing it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I create undeniable value. Number 8. The walk away power. The final piece of becoming a first choice is the most important. You have to be genuinely willing to walk away from anyone who treats you as an option, not as a bluff, not as a tactic, but as a core operating principle. The power to walk away is the ultimate power in any relationship, because the person who needs the relationship least controls the relationship most. And second choice people never walk away. They stay and stay and stay, hoping things will change, proving they have nowhere else to go. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." Walking away is how you become both. You recognize when you are being trapped in second place, and you frighten people with the reality that you might actually leave. This requires real preparation. You need a life full enough that losing any one person isn't devastating. You need options real enough that being alone isn't terrifying. You need self-worth solid enough that rejection doesn't destroy you. When you can genuinely walk away, everything shifts. Your energy changes, your standards increase, your tolerance for poor treatment evaporates. People sense that you don't need them, and paradoxically, that is exactly what makes them want to be chosen by you. The irony is that you rarely have to use this power once you genuinely have it. Because when people know you can walk, they stop giving you reasons to. When they know you have options, they work harder to be your first choice. When they know you don't need them, they start needing you. But you can't fake it. You can't pretend you are willing to walk away while desperately hoping they'll stop you. That desperation always leaks through. You have to genuinely build the capacity to be fine without anyone who doesn't treat you as first choice. That is the work. That is the transformation. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I can leave anyone. So what happens when you implement everything we've covered? When you shed the second choice identity? When you understand the psychology of selection? When you escape the availability trap? When you eliminate neediness? When you master the pursuit paradox? When you stop paying the tolerance tax? When you build genuine value? When you develop walk away power? First, your entire social reality restructures. The people who treated you as backup either level up or disappear. The people who recognize your value start competing for your attention. You find yourself in the unfamiliar position of choosing instead of being chosen. Second, your self-perception transforms. You stop seeing yourself as someone who takes whatever they can get. You start seeing yourself as someone with something valuable to offer. Your confidence becomes real because it is built on genuine value, not wishful thinking. Third, your relationships deepen. Instead of many superficial connections where you are an option, you have fewer deep connections where you are essential. Quality replaces quantity. Mutual respect replaces one-sided devotion. Fourth, your peace increases. You stop the exhausting performance of trying to earn your place. You stop the anxiety of wondering if you are wanted. You stop the desperation of trying to hold on to people who don't value you. You simply exist as someone worth choosing. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." Applied to you, look at how people treat you. If you are surrounded by people who treat you as first choice, you've succeeded. If not, you have work to do. If you've made it this far, you are not like most people. Most people would rather complain about being second choice than do the work to become first. Most people prefer the comfort of familiar rejection to the fear of actually claiming their worth. But you are still here, which means you are ready. Ready to stop accepting backup status. Ready to stop waiting for people who aren't waiting for you. Ready to stop hoping someone will finally see your value and start demanding they do. Remember what we've covered today. Reject the second choice identity completely. Understand that selection is based on perceived scarcity. Escape the trap of constant availability. Eliminate the neediness that repels first choice status. Stop pursuing and start attracting. Pay zero tolerance tax for poor treatment. Build genuine value that can't be ignored. Develop the power to walk away from anyone. These aren't just tactics. They're a complete identity reconstruction from someone who begs to be chosen to someone who does the choosing. From someone who accepts scraps to someone who demands the feast. From second choice to the only choice that matters. Machiavelli wrote, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great." If you are truly willing to transform from second choice to first, no obstacle can stop you. The only question is whether your willingness is real or just another wish that fades by tomorrow. If this video showed you why you've been stuck in second place and how to escape, smash that like button. If you know someone who keeps getting overlooked and needs to hear this truth, share it with them. And if you want more content that turns your weaknesses into weapons, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. The transformation from everyone's backup plan to everyone's first priority starts with a single decision. You've just watched the blueprint. Now it is time to build. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am no one's second choice. Remember, in a world full of people accepting whatever they can get, the person who demands first priority gets exactly that. Be that person. Command your position, and watch how everything in your life transforms when you finally stop accepting backup status.